Tell you what, lads, it took 2 months, but we're here. We're back. Way episode 11. How we doing, everyone? Bloody hell. How we doing, Neil? Everyone's getting in. All the usual crew. Neil's here. North's here. Lennon's here. Loving it. Jamie's here. We're all talking about Jeff's bullshit. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. And the secret guest of the panel is definitely going to have his say against have his say against everything that's all Wolves at the moment and all the bullshit that's happening for this club. Definitely going to be talking about that as well. But before we get into it, guys, no matter where you're watching this, do your vigilance and please like, follow, do all that shit, and then subscribe to our channel and like the YouTube channel as well, because we're doing our absolute best. I'll tell you what, this is going to be a jam-packed episode. I'm telling you now. We are going to squeeze as much in as physically possible. But I tell you what, we've got a lot of games to cover. We're going to do our best to cover as much as the games that we've missed as possible. All of which I'm looking at on the screen are in red. So that's going to be fun. And then we're going to talk about the state of this club. We're going to talk about Fosun. We're going to get your questions. And there we go. And until then, let's get the first panel member in. We got another Dan. He's got a better beard. How are you doing, Dan? You good?
All right.
He strokes his beard
right,
as he says it as well.
I do. I'm all right, mate. How are you?
Catching you up, actually. And
You
by
are,
catching
yeah.
you up, I mean not really at all. But you know, we'll move on.
Right.
But yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Are you really good?
I'm very good. Yeah.
I'm not.
Jamie says he loves the new Twitter account. Listen, I was going to stream on Twitter, but I've got to get the premium service first because basically Elon Musk is a robbing bastard and he doesn't let us do anything for free. You know what I mean? That would be too nice. So we are going to be able to stream on Twitter again soon as well, but we have got a new Twitter. And while we're on that subject, I will get the rest of the panel members in a minute. Sorry, guys, you're sitting around just for a little bit longer because we have got a new Twitter, guys. So if you want to follow us, at WWFC Wolfpack is our new Twitter. So we're finally back. John's there doing his thing as always. So is Matt. And we try and bring you the news as fast as possible. So please head over to there. And I said his name, so I may as well bring him in. Next member is John. How are we doing, John?
How's it going? Yeah, I'm not too bad. Always a little bit depressed being a Wolves fan, but not too bad.
Well,
Comes with the territory.
Mate, I came into my house just so my mum took one look at me and went, "You right?" I went, "Yeah." Sure.
Normal day as a Wolves fan.
So I mean, normal shit. You know what I mean? Same old shit, different day. Next we've got Benjamin. How we doing, mate?
I'm good. How are you?
We're all good, mate. We're all good. And I'll tell you what, it's bloody cold. So if I start dithering at any point, I'll just apologise. Do you know what I mean? Because it is absolutely freezing in this room. And then last but not least, we've got Sutty. How we doing, mate?
Good evening.
Finally got this legend on the live. How many times have we been on WhatsApp thinking we're going to arrange something and it just never happens? But I'll tell you what, tonight is the night. And I'll tell you what, we've got a lot to bloody talk about. So it's going to be worth the wait. Listen, get involved in the chat, guys. Okay, I can see you guys flooding in. Someone's already said your name, Sutty, because he's a bit of a ledge. There we go. Look at that. They're all flooding in. So I was on Dave's Always Wolves channel yesterday. So this is how we share the love. Do you know what I mean? This is a Sutty debut. He's on his debut. Hopefully he's as good as a debut as Agbadu at Wolves, because bloody hell. Anyway, we're going to talk about these games, guys. Unfortunately, that's what we're going to do. I wish we could talk about something a lot nicer. I wish the podcast talked about something a little bit more happy. But unfortunately, we're all Wolves fans, so let's get it over and bloody done with. Right, listen here. You're not going to be able to see me, but I'm underneath the light thing at the moment. But hey, we're going to look at games that we've missed. All right, and we've missed a bloody lot. Now, we're going to talk about the nice games first. There's only one, maybe three, I'm not going to count Bristol City because that just doesn't count, does it? Let's be honest. Let's talk about that Fulham game. All those many moons ago, we were there, right? Away at Fulham, and somehow Wolves managed to pull off an absolutely fantastic result, 4-1 against Fulham. I'm going to come to one person each time just so we can get through all these games. I'm going to talk to Benjamin. Let me know what you thought of this game, if you can remember it, bloody hell.
I think from what I remember, I was very entertained in this game, and that's probably down to one man, which is obviously twice on the score sheet, Mateus Cunha. I'd probably say the be-all and end-all sort of this game was that all the credit has to go to him, I think, in terms of knitting everything together, creating goals, scoring goals. Because obviously we were 1-0 down to begin with and ended up winning 4-1. And I think that all the credit has to go to Cunha in this instance.
Yeah, I think I completely agree. As you can see, it was like a fairly even contest, to be fair. But I think for the first time ever, Wolves were just clinical. They were just absolutely clinical. Like these XGs are huge for Wolves, especially away, especially in the circumstance that was going on at the club at the time. It was quite the win, and it looked like Wolves were going to go on a little bit of a winning streak, really, because we'd won the last game against Southampton. Then we go away, and you think, bloody hell, all right, here we go. You know, it's nice to be a Wolves fan again, but as a but, we are going to go now to John. John's going to talk us through this ridiculous defeat to Bournemouth when we lost 4-2. If you can remember.
Yeah, it's just another one of those games where I think we thought we were going to go into it and get something from it, kind of build on what we'd done in the previous game. But again, for me, because it was a long time ago, if I remember rightly, the defence was just so shaky. Just whenever they came with such an attack, whenever you watch Bournemouth, they're just so quick, aren't they? They kind of suffocate the opposition. So it just forces errors. And a team like Bournemouth, you see where they are now in the table, there's a massive chance they're probably going to push for a European spot. And they were just really, really good in this game. And as you can see, to score 4 goals against us, they were just a team that would not allow you to get out and just kept on suffocating you until you let those goals in. But to be honest, we got on the score sheet, we got a couple of goals. But yeah, Bournemouth is just a team at the moment that I think anyone they play in the league, they're just going to have a really good game against and probably beat. So yeah, definitely one where we came back down to reality, which is what's happening a little bit too often at the moment.
Yeah, it was definitely a reality check, wasn't it, to be fair? And I think I'll be honest, after that game against Fulham, I thought maybe being at home again with a couple of results under our belt will start to look quite good again. But the trouble is with this game, I don't know if you guys remember it, but it was one of these games, right, which was just you score a goal, we'll score a goal, you score a goal, we'll score a goal, and then all of a sudden, ours completely dried up and Bournemouth just kept going and we just couldn't handle them. Now, I'm going to come to Sutty for this one because this was a cracker. Everton away, Sutty, 4-0 to Everton away, which is obviously at the time a relegation rival. What are your thoughts of this game, if you remember?
They hadn't scored in fucking 5 games. They are, well, they're putting us to shame now because, I mean, we were absolutely, sorry about the language, fucking dreadful.
No, go ahead. We don't
it
get...
It was as bad as you could possibly imagine it. It was shockingly bad. There's no excuses for lack of effort for anybody. For me, I'll forgive you anything, but if you're strolling around and you're not trying to actually come back in a game, then I'll call you out. For me, you can fuck off. I don't want you at my club. If you ain't going to put the effort in, just fuck off.
Yeah, but Cunha scored Craig Dawson scored 2 goals.
He's their joint second top scorer.
He scored 2 goals. I think he
is
got the
Everton's
lowest.
joint second top scorer.
I think he
Honestly.
got the lowest rating on the FOTMob like of all time. He got a 3, but I think
know
at the
what,
time,
though?
I think that's gone up since then.
Dan,
Go on.
it's when
Sorry,
it's
sorry.
when the home. If you watch their podcasts on that game, that they're absolutely gobsmacked how shit we were, because they were so shit. They were certain that they were going to go down. They're fucking dreadful, and what does that make us? Fucking hell.
We had an absolute torrid time, to be fair. I mean, you look, Ashley Young scores this free kick. I remember this free kick, by the way.
Yeah. Don't forget though, Dan, just to interrupt you quick, they actually had the ball in the back of the net 6 times.
Oh, Jesus
They had
Christ.
2 disallowed. I mean, it's such a shit show. It's unbelievable.
I think that might.
I mean, a shit show. S-I-J. S-H-I. I mean, it's just got a ring to it. She show. It's just.
Mate, I'm gonna get our guy to make some shirts on that. That's cracking. A sheet show. I'll give you some some credit for that one, mate.
Honestly,
that's cracking.
Fucking unbelievable. But it was poor. It was so poor that you best move on to the next game.
Oh, you know what? I'm going to give Dancy something to talk about, but I'll tell you what, I don't even remember this bloody game. I'm going to be honest. I don't even remember it.
Just the ending. I remember the ending.
Fighting in it.
That's the one. All right, Dan, talk about this game then.
That's all I remember. I don't remember the game at all. I'm glad you didn't say Everton. Everton's the only game I didn't watch. But this one, nothing. Lamina kicking off at the end. That's about all I can remember, really. Nothing else about this game.
The most fight he showed the whole game, by the way, was absolutely poor. Both him and Andre in this game, I remember, being absolutely dreadful. We had this weird thing where he played João Gomez as almost like a false 9 with two midfielders. Oh my God, it was an actual joke. You had Semedo, who couldn't jump higher than a bloody Smurf. He was just an absolute nightmare. Johnston probably had the worst game I've seen in a Wolves shirt, and I mean that's not really hard to do, really. I remember Doherty having an absolute fantastic game. That was probably the only good thing about this game. He gets a goal, and he just ends up being a fantastic little a little defender for us. I remember him cutting back and almost doing Semedo's job for him for the majority of the whole of the game. So definitely one to forget.
Doc's been fantastic the last few games. Our best player, I think, one of our best players on the pitch.
Oh God, John, you've got all the fun ones. What about
damn.
Switch?
Glasses Gate. One. I was there actually for the game, and I thought, Christ, I was just going to take the draw here, and I was just getting out my seat because I usually get out a couple of minutes early, start taking a slow walk down the steps, just so I can beat a little bit of the crowd. So I like to go and get a McDonald's after. So I was walking down the steps, and then the goal went in, and it was like the last few seconds, and I couldn't believe it. They were celebrating like they'd won the Champions League. They were going, the Ipswich fans, they were going mad, and when the corner came, I was like, no. Not a set piece with the dying seconds of the game, and then it went in, and then when you get that feeling in your stomach, like, oh my God, like Gary's probably going to get sacked here. I think Gary still going in charge of it. Yeah, Gary's going to get sacked here, and I remember just leaving thinking, I actually hate football, but yeah, it to be honest, I thought we probably deserved the point. I thought up to that point we looked okay. Ipswich weren't that good. I wasn't really impressed at all with them. Obviously, their striker, Delap, is obviously amazing. He's probably the only player I looked at. I thought he's decent. I didn't think their keeper was too bad. But apart from that, I thought they were pretty rubbish.
Oh, we had a cracking game. Murich did. Absolute cracking game.
Yeah, I remember.
And then, O'Shea that we almost signed. He had a fantastic game as well. I don't know why he got 6.4. He was really good.
But I just remember thinking, like, we are better than Ipswich. Like, we should be able to get something out of this game. 100% want to win, but, I'll take a draw. And then in the dying seconds to not even get the point, and to give them, in the position they are, that extra 2 points to go from a draw to a win for Ipswich. It was just, I was so angry. I was probably more angry with this. I was probably more angry with this than I was Everton, because I was like, it's the dying seconds set piece.
How comical were the goals as well? Do you remember the goals?
Yeah. Oh, the first one was horrendous.
It just looked like it looked like the ball had a magnet on it, and it was just like aimed for our goal. And it was never ever not going in the goal. Like it had about 12 ricochets. It was like a game of ping. Was it pinball? Do you know what I mean? It was like,
yeah.
trying to get rid of the bloody ball. It just ends up in the net anyway. It was actually comical. And then that goal at the end, I could see it coming. I literally, I remember stood up right with my hands like this, going, "That's going in." Yep, there we go. And I just walked.
You
out.
said that about any corner, didn't you? Now as a Wolves fan, any
Fucking
corner,
shocking, man.
going in.
And I remember saying at this point with Gary O'Neill in charge, I actually think we're better from corners now. I do, but when I remember this game specifically, we were shit from corners the whole game. We almost they almost capitalized on corners throughout the entire game, and then the last minute you could just fucking see it happening, and no one marks him. No one marks him. No
John
one marks this
Stones all
geezer.
over again.
Oh, John Stones, mate, honestly. 10
It's the
million.
same, it was the same goal as Man City got.
10 million for him. Anyway, then Vitor Pereira comes in. So, Benji, do you want to talk about our first win under Vitor Pereira, Leicester away? Quite a good game, this one.
Yeah, so for this game, I was really excited in the sort of build-up because I remember Vitor coming in and giving his sort of first press match conference, and he was sort of saying all the right things in terms of attitude, in terms of just sort of the team gelling together, and that sort of filled me with a lot of excitement. And the changes in terms of the team sheet are very obvious. So obviously he took Semedo out centre back, put him at right wing back. He dropped Doherty back into the defence, started Guedes and Gomez, and obviously both of them getting on the score sheets. I think it sort of shows that Gary O'Neill should have been sacked earlier. And scoring 3 goals flattered us a bit. But all credit to Vitor and to Rodrigo Gomez sort of for the impacts that they had on the game. I just
remember Andre Gomez like giving Justin probably a game for me that I wouldn't even have played him again. He was absolutely poor. Like I remember just being took out of position throughout the entire game. Doherty has a fantastic ball over, which is finished by Gomez. I remember Guedes having a cracking game. Everybody had a really good game. Looked really positive under this new manager. The new system as well, by the way. You know, changing Doherty from look at this Semedo to Doherty. Who knew that Semedo is fucking shit at being a centre back, right? Doherty's good at being a centre back, and all you had to do was change those 2 things, and all of a sudden that one side was completely unlocked the whole game. The whole game, they couldn't get through both of them. They were both working torridly to keep the ball, and then you've got like probably one of the best games I've ever seen from Sarr. Distribution, awesome. Everything in this game looked like, right, we've got a manager now who knows exactly how to put these players on the pitch. And then after this is going to be a good game to talk about. You know what? I'm going to give Sutty a nice game. Do you know what I mean? Because the thing is with Sutty, yeah, we all go, right, he's that grumpy guy that's going to give us all the shit on Fosa, and he's going to be, you know, I want to see what you actually thought about this game, because I thought, right, this was easily the best Wolves performance up until this point. What did you think about United? We'd have beat
him if they'd have had 11 blokes on the pitch for most of the game.
Yeah.
We were better all over the pitch than them, to be honest. Can't knock anything with that performance. It was just very good. They're not brilliant, are they? They're not Man United team of the past, that's for certain. But we took them to bits, and Cunha was on fire. He literally was taking the piss out of them.
He scored from a corner, I remember.
Yeah, to hear them saying he's put himself in the shop window for them. Well, fucking hell, I don't think I'd go there, but money talks at the end of the day, don't it? They're still
I definitely wouldn't. I definitely wouldn't leave a club to go to United at the moment. He's just ruining every player. Every player that goes there gets ruined. Yoro, awful. Mazzarri, awful.
Yeah.
You know, Ugarte, awful now. Like all these, that 3 players there are brand new players, and they're absolutely thrown in the mud already. And it's like, what the hell, man? If you could put all 3 of them into a Wolves team, and we'd be bloody buzzing, and they'd probably have a great time because they'd get played. You know, they wouldn't get scrutinised every game. United is a poison chalice. So this is why I keep saying, why the hell would any Wolves player go there, really?
Dan, Wolves ain't much fucking better, mate.
Well, now. I mean, at the time of this point. Now. Fucking every Wolves player will go to United now. Jesus Christ. But yeah, I mean, what a game that was, man. I remember going, it was
very good, yeah.
Foggy afternoon, and went with my mate and everything, and one of the guys that was working at the club at the time, and it was just absolutely awesome. I had such a good time, man. Such a good time. And again, this came off a win, you know, with Vita Pereira, and you're just thinking, bloody hell, like we look great now under this new manager. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, it's just annoying now. Like, obviously, we know what happened after that, but we still look pretty positive in the next game. This was Tottenham away. We end up getting a draw. Hwang Hee-chan gets a goal, so, you know, keeps majority of the Molineux fans happy. Because let's face it, none of them are waving English flags nowadays. So, right, who are we coming up to for this one? Who's next? Who's ready to talk about Tottenham? Can't remember who was next. So Sutty's had his. Then you've had his. Is it John? John, are you ready for Tottenham?
Yeah, I can talk about this one.
Go on.
So yeah, it's definitely a game where I thought, coming back off the Man United game, new manager, everything, I thought we could definitely get something out of it. Tottenham hadn't been at the best form. Obviously, they're terrible at the moment, but even back then, I think they'd lost a handful of games, hadn't they? And they were starting to get really criticised, especially by their own fans. And I think it was at the time when their manager had gone up into the crowd and caused loads of problems with Tottenham fans or something. But yeah, so I thought we can definitely get something out of this. You know, it's like when Wolves play a team that are in like despair. And to be honest, I thought we played pretty well against them. But for me, it was that last minute goal. I think it was Strand Larsen when he smacked it in the top corner. It was like an impossible angle. It was this game, wasn't it? That was an unbelievable goal. And I was thinking to myself, we can probably get back in this. We just need a moment of quality, and that was that moment of quality. If you think about the angle and everything, it was a fantastic goal. And I think he said after in the interview that he knew he didn't have anyone there next to him. He'd run that quick. No one had been by his side, so he had one choice, and that was to kick it as hard as he could.
I mean, no one's shocked about him. No one's shocked about him not having anyone near in the box at the moment. Bloody hell. Hwang Hee-chan scores a great goal, and then goes missing the whole game. And then what else happened? Ait-Nouri got 2 assists, which is really good.
Yeah, it was the Ait-Nouri show, wasn't it? He was just fantastic, up and down, which is a little bit of a shame when you think about the last few games. I know he's been okay, but probably not up to those heights. But yeah, he was definitely up and down, putting like some serious balls in. He's obviously at a point when the new manager had come in and just said to him, look, you need to start putting some balls in, giving Larsen a bit of service, and obviously he did that many times, all the forwards some service. But yeah, he definitely was at his pinnacle there.
And Sarr saved a pen as well.
Yeah, he did. Good save. That was a shit penalty, but I suppose it was good save for the goalkeeper.
Cool. Well, I told you, mate. I told you we'd get through these bloody fixtures. I was just thinking, how am I going to do this? Christ, we're going to be here all day talking about all these, but we are getting there. I had a lovely a request then from Dan C to talk about Forest away.
No,
go on then, let him have it.
So 6 minutes, the South Bank were calling Gibbs White's misses a slag and saying the baby wasn't his, and then 7 minutes he scored a goal, and then he went downhill from there. That was And then Wood and Mark to believe as well for his goal.
Yeah.
And then we'd left before the third one because I don't leave early, but this is the only time I did, and I just thought
I was eating a hot dog I was eating a hot dog and I heard the cheer, and I actually thought we'd scored a goal, and it was just an ironic cheer. But actually, it was because Forest fans turned up for this game. I'll be honest.
They did. They did.
Easily the
They
game for me where the away fans just destroyed us throughout the entire game. Like,
But to be fair though, it ain't hard at the moment. It's
yeah, but it was
embarrassing.
at that moment we had a couple of decent results behind our back. Do you know what I mean? So Forest came into this probably not as certain as they would do now. But yeah, they just look unbeatable at the moment, and it was just one of those games, weren't it? Like all of the cliches, they all came true. Sells had an absolute fantastic game. I remember him literally the ball, right? It just wouldn't get past this geezer. Like it didn't matter how good the strike was. It didn't matter if it was point blank range. It didn't matter anything. Sells was just absolutely on it. And I'll be honest, I couldn't say every single one of those Forest players deserved it.
They
right?
did, yeah, they deserved it.
And,
You're right.
And it was one of these games where I can't really fault Wolves because we just got outplayed. They were just better than us. Like, if you get beat, but you see a little few performances out there that you can go, all right, fair enough. At least we're trying our best, because we had a lot of chances in this game. You just take the L and you go, yeah, okay, we'll move on. Like, obviously they're doing really well this season. So I actually took this as a bit of like we'll move on. It is what it is. Let's just hope, this isn't the sign of things to come. And unfortunately, guys, that's exactly what it was, because after that, the Forest game, we managed to get a win against Bristol, which I'm not even going to talk about. Who cares?
No.
Like, fucking hell, who gives a shit, man? Jesus Christ. We then go to Newcastle away, and this is where we start to get a little bit thinking, okay, it's still squeaky bum time. We're still in a lot of trouble here. I remember Newcastle just absolutely devouring us, man. Sutty, do you want to talk about that? Did you go to that one, by the way?
I did. I got home at 3:30 in the morning.
Love that. Dedication, mate.
Okay.
Carry on.
Well, I'm not so sure they did devour us. The scoreline says so, but unfortunately, we had 4 absolute gilt-edged chances.
Yeah.
And we could still be there now. We wouldn't fucking score. We were dreadful up top, and I mean dreadful. And that's the start of the demise, really. I could forgive the Forest one because sometimes that happens.
Yeah.
This one has really set the rot in now. Yeah, especially up top. Jesus Christ. Strand Larson. If I had an argument, not an argument, a bit of a debate with somebody on a chat forum. And they were telling me that Strand Larson's stats were better than Prime Raoul in his first season. Right, I said, well, you can shove your stats up your arse because Prime Raoul, with the chances that Strand Larson's had this season, would be on 16, 17 goals now.
Yeah, easily. You know what I do like Strand Larson because he does run for everything, and I just think, to be honest,
a dead horse, Dan. There's no.
Yeah, I know that. But I do.
Wangy Chan, fucking hell.
Now you're talking about a useless player.
I mean, how'd you go from 12, 13 goals last season pre the Asia Cup
to absolutely nothing?
How do you possibly do that? I don't get how you can do it. And that tells me that easier just to sell shirts, really. They don't want to sell him because if you look at everywhere in that ground now, there's £222 tickets being sold to Korean fans.
I know. And that's why he's staying. And that's why he gets played. I've said this so many times and no one seems to believe me, but I genuinely think he has a clause in his contract to have minutes because every single manager play him. And he never has a good game. No. He never has a good game. Under O'Neill, he got something out of him. I don't know how he did it, but he got something out of him. But ever since then, man, he has been absolutely woeful. I hate to throw players under the bus, but he doesn't even look like he's on the same page as players sometimes. Like, he doesn't even look like he's got a football brain sometimes.
Yeah.
And that is just inexcusable when you're in the league that you're in. Like, you've got to at least do the basics correct. But yeah, I mean, we've talked about this game. There's not really much you can say. I do agree with you, though, to be fair. Maybe I was being a little bit harsh, because I do remember us having a shitload of chances. It says here we had 5 big chances here.
Yeah, 5.
According to this stats.
I'm not joking. Sarabia should have scored. Strand Larson should have had 2. Who else was it? Oh, Wang had 1. And
Yeah, Wang had a shocker, though. I remember that.
I've looked around in the end and I've said we couldn't score in a fucking brothel at the moment, could we? Let's be honest.
No,
we're fucking useless.
Really couldn't. Chelsea away, coming to Benji. Is that Benji next, or is it Dan C? I can't even remember.
No, it's not
Fight
me.
amongst yourselves.
Nottingham Forest.
Go on, Benj.
I remember watching this game, and I didn't have any hope, and I think I can't remember what score I predicted. I didn't have much hope, and sort of the score I was expecting was the one that happened. I think the fact we scored 3 goals surprised absolutely no one. Doherty having a decent game again, like probably one of the only shining lights in this Wolves team at the moment. And just, absolutely no surprise while watching this game to see us concede 3 again. How many games in a row have we conceded 3?
You're going to also see something. You're also going to see something here. So Chalobah scores a assist, a good assist, really, really, really good. He got star player, right? He was another Wolves target. You're going to see something here where Fosun, they have all of these targets, right? But none of them meet what the player actually requires, and they're so tight when it comes to actually dealing with their agents. They're literally like, yeah, you can have him for 16. You can have him 16 million. He's yours. Oh, can you do 13.5? Well, no. All right, can you do 14? I'm like, just fucking pay the 16. Do you know what I mean? And then he comes back into the Chelsea team and he has an absolute steamer. And this is what I mean. Like, you can say what you want about our ownership. Oh, well, they buy players when we get them. We've got Agbadu. Look at him. Yeah, fantastic. But we are linked. It's Danso again today. We are linked to players that will literally help this squad. But we are so shit at dealing with them. It's unreal. We have to literally get George Mendes to offer him essentially a career in the future to even get him in the window, even in the door. Like, we are so bad at dealing with players. And we're going to talk about Fosun at the end, of course. But I had to mention the fact that Chalobah had such a good game in this, and he was also a Wolves target. But carry on, sorry. I've talked. Go on, Benchy. Where was you? Carry on, son.
That's basically all I had to say. That, like,
that's all right,
I was
then.
disappointed in this result, but there was no surprise at my end. And I'm sure
I'm actually
going
going to let everyone talk about this game, because I actually think this is the worst performance for Wolves, especially under the new manager. And arguably, it was the one performance for me that, even though we lost a game, we didn't look interested.
No.
We didn't even look like we turned up. Like, every single player, barring João Gomez and Doherty, I would honestly would have actually not even paid them for that game. I didn't even give him a contract. I'd be like, let's look at you. Let's look at the games we've done. Yeah, for that one, you're not getting anything. And then they're going, what do you mean? And they're going, well, you didn't show up. You know what I mean? I'm going to pay a fucking ghost, am I? They were awful, absolutely dreadful in this one.
My favourite bit of this game was where we allowed Cucurella in the box to fall down, stand back up, fall down again, and then score a goal. I know I just watched him.
I literally watched him stroll past.
Yeah.
Like he was a fucking bride at a wedding. Do you know what I mean? He just fucking watched him stroll past. Like, he was just admiring him, like he was wearing a fucking bride gown. Like, he was just going, oh my God, look at him, look at his hair. He's so pretty. And then literally, he just fucking wanders in. No one's marking him whatsoever, right? Everyone's blaming, various defenders. But no one's going to assume that he would have got past that many defenders and 8 Nori and our midfield and everything. He just fucking cruised through like he was like a Wolves player. It was ridiculous, man. It was honestly the worst defensive mistake of the game for sure. And I mean, there was fucking loads of them in this one, but that one was awful, man. I'm glad you mentioned that one. But like I said, awful performance, John. I haven't heard from you in a minute. Talk to me about this dreadful performance, please.
Yeah, for me, probably one of the worst ones in probably the last 10 games for us. Just too many people switching off, I think, in defence. It's just so annoying as a fan sitting there. I didn't actually go to it because it was so far away. I do try and go to away games, but when they're that far away, it can be a bit difficult. So I watched it from home, and yeah, it's just very frustrating because we have got an okay attack. I know we're not scoring enough goals, but we are okay up front. We are okay in the midfield, but the defenders just switch off so many times. And for me, some of them are just too weak and not really suited for the Premier League, especially like Santi. So yeah, it's just one of those ones where you just think like, who was speaking to the person next to him to say, "Have you got this man?" There's no communication. And hopefully now, obviously, we've got this new centre back in that was the captain of his team. We can get some more communication, and hopefully a new signing could do that, because no one's talking to each other in the box and no one knows where they're meant to be. And you've got a question there. The manager, I know he's just come in, but like he's done so well in the first couple of games or first 3 games in charge, and then he's let everything slip again. So and it was improved against Arsenal, but yeah, there's communication's key here, especially in the defence, because if someone just told someone to mark, Nori to get back, Santi to mark, you know what I mean? The communication's key, and we saw that in the Newcastle game. Isaac was just sat there making a cup of tea by himself and then scored the goal. So do you know what I mean? Like, communication's key here. But yeah, I do agree that some of the players also aren't quite up to it, which is hopefully why we'll get another centre back in the next few days.
Dan,
Go on.
Just quickly on that as well. Communication is key, but you've got to have leaders to communicate with people.
Yes.
And we haven't had a leader since Ruben Neves.
No.
We got rid of our best leader in Connor Cody in decades. We shipped him out the door. Fair enough. We replaced him with Ruben. Ruben wasn't as good a leader as Cody, because you could hear Cody barking orders when we were full tilting all round Molineux. We haven't got a leader anywhere on that pitch.
No.
Anywhere.
And the ones that we do have, they're either stealing blokes' glasses or they don't even turn up. Do you know what I mean?
Wow. If you haven't got a leader, our last leader was seen, I can't remember who it was against now, on his hands and knees, crying.
Yeah.
Crying on the pitch. I'd have booted him all over. Honestly, that is not a leader. He should have been going around every one of them and say, get your head up, go and applaud everyone. Next week, we'll work hard and we'll sort this fucking mess out, because that's what it is. It's down to us at the end of the day. It's down to them. And the only way you'll get an atmosphere back at Molineux is when they start performing. It's a two-way thing, this. It's all right, people saying, "Oh, we've got to get behind them. They've got to give us something back."
Yeah, because he's not doing it. What you're supposed to cheer? Do you know what I mean? Like, if you cheer mediocrity, then they will be mediocre. Like, what are we supposed to cheer?
You said earlier that Forest outdone us. They outdone us. Yeah, we had absolutely nothing to cheer about.
No, literally nothing. No, you're right. Right, we've come to the match that should have been this podcast, but we just thought we'd do about 12 matches on top of that. But thought we did all right, actually. We've got through them all. Fantastic. We're back to it now. We'll do another 12 for the next podcast, obviously. I'm not going to let that happen. Right, so listen, we got Arsenal, guys. We got Arsenal in the last game at home. It was a bloody red card fest. I mean, Jesus Christ. It was just a ridiculous game, to be honest. Look, I've done a thing recently of this, a review. So if you want to hear my views on this one, I mean, fuck me, it's out there now. Go and have a look. I'm not happy. It's like half an hour of me just bitching about Fosun. It's fantastic. You should check it out. But I'll let Sutty join on this one. So, Sutty, what is your opinion of Arsenal at home? 1-0 to them.
I'll be honest with you. I don't even think they were that good.
No.
I thought you couldn't really put too much between the two sides, although Havertz should have had a hat trick of headers. I mean, they were gilt-edged chances. So the red card in the first half reminded me, I don't know if you can remember, we played Villa away, we were 1-0 up, and I think John McGinn went off with about 8-9 minutes before half-time.
Yeah.
And we absolutely battered Villa that first half. And all of a sudden, it was as if we don't go in 1-1 at half time when we should have gone for them. And we didn't go for Arsenal. We just and they came out after the break. They've made a couple of little tactical changes, made a substitution, and you'd have thought we had 10 men after the break. And they've obviously they've evened it up with João Gomez, and I'm not going to call João Gomez out because he's consistently really good for us, really good. And if you take that part of his game away, then he ain't the same player.
No.
But
He loves the tackle, doesn't he? And I'll tell you what, like,
he's tenacious, isn't he? And you can't, if you take that away from him, and it's easy, and it's such a fast game, and it was a yellow. It was a yellow. It was that, so he's got to go. But even then, fucking hell, I'm watching people strolling around. I mean, Cunha, I'm in the South Bank, right? And I watched him, Norris coming up the left wing, our left wing, and Cunha has got his back to him. Walking.
Yeah, that was funny as well. When he had about 4 players in front of him waiting for a pass in the box, he starts walking and then does this absolutely shocking, almost like fucking golf-esque chip into Raya's hands, and it's like, why are you walking, bro? If you ran at the defenders then and got your attackers actually involved in the game, something could have happened from that.
The moment of the day for me, really, which just summed us up at present, was Bellegarde trying to do a Cucurella impression. Yeah. And he started to fall on the edge of the area, and he made it all the way to the byline, and then feigned injury because he knew he looked such a dickhead.
It literally looked, I thought he'd split his nutsack open or something. I don't know what was going on. I thought, what the fuck's going on?
I mean, it was just everybody, even Arsenal supporters, they all laughed. We laughed in the South Bank, and everybody just turned to each other and went, what the fucking hell's going on here? It's just a shambles. Absolute fucking shambles. And I'm not blaming Vitor Pereira here, because
no.
We're on the last game here, so I'm not taking your job off you here, Dan, by the way, but I'm going to tell you now.
No, go for it.
These fucking signings should have been done and dusted in the first week. This is a desperation transfer window, right? And if you're in the shit, you buy in this window. And unfortunately, you have to pay a little bit more because people know you're in the fucking shit. Now, the only other reason you would buy in this window is if you're probably one piece of the jigsaw away from getting to a European place, and you go for that one as well. Well, unless you're fucking Wolves, because we've been in that position, and they won't fucking spend because they know success fucking costs money, and they don't want to do that. That's why we've got the budget of 17th in the league for wages, because we're budgeting to finish 17th all the fucking time, because they're a bunch of spineless, money pinching fucking bastards. That's what they are. There's no two ways, any other way you can put it. That is exactly what they are. Now, you can't keep circling the drain all the time, because sooner or later you're going to go. And if we go, because we're in the bottom 3 now, if we end up at Ipswich away in a few weeks' time on the same points as Ipswich, we're fucked. Because I tell you now, Ipswich, I don't think player for player are better than us. Well, I know they're fucking not. They're not better than us.
No.
But player for player, Ipswich at Portman Road, if we're on the same points, we'll turn up there like a shitting dog, and they'll absolutely walk all over us. They'll bully us again.
Yeah.
And we can't afford to do that. So people might not like this and might think I'm an idiot. But next week against the Villa in a local derby where anything can happen at the end of the day, we have got to win. A draw's no good. I think Ipswich have got Southampton, haven't they?
Yeah.
I think Leicester have got Everton. So we have got to win. No ifs, no buts. I don't care if you shit out a 1-0 win. We have got to win. Because if we're 3-4 points behind and we're second bottom next week, it could be game over. I don't think they've got the fight in them. They ain't got no fight. They've got no bollocks. Half of them, 3/4 of them, haven't got the bollocks they were born with. I think they're firmly shoved up their arse, some of them. They're that bollockless. And it's just embarrassing to watch. The demise of this team is just year on year of selling your crown jewels and replacing it with ones for the future or complete and utter shit. Fucking pissed off with it. 47 years I've been here. I've seen one trophy won, apart from when we won the championship, and a Leyland Daff, which I can't really count that, but it's still a good day out. But it's fucking dreadful for a club this size. A founder member club in nearly 50 years, one major trophy. That's just not acceptable. And you got these bastards come in and 5-6 years ago tell us we're going to be competing with Man City every year and be in the top four for Champions League places, and it's just gradually got worse and worse. And the reason it's got worse and worse is because, one, they don't want to spend any money. And people say, oh, they do spend money. Yeah, what they do is they sell our fucking crown jewels and then spend a pittance on fucking rubbish. And you can't keep doing it. We are not Brighton. Brighton did it for 2 or 3 seasons, and that allowed them to get ones for the future ready. So that when they sold one, they got one perfect, ready to go. We don't do that. We sell one and then fuck off to South America and look for one that'll be ready in 2 years' time. We never go and buy a player in the summer that will make us better there and then. Never. We haven't done that for 3 years. So these fuckers are going to have a big change of tact or get ready to wipe 250 million quid off the value of their asset. Now, you fucking watch this. We'll go and scrape 17th on the last game of the season or something shit like that, and they'll stand there with big grins on their faces. I ain't fucking good enough for me. I'm fucking shit fucking tired of this. It's fucking boring. The place is boring. They've priced half of the fucking proper supporters out the game. Hence, you've got no atmosphere in the place. It's fucking shit. It's rancid. Wolves is at the moment. Absolute fucking shit show.
See, I said, Sutty, to be fair, every problem that's with this club at the moment, whether it be on the pitch, whether it be anything, it's all comes back down to our shit ownership, because we aren't anywhere near in the shit as much as we would be if they just bought the right players. And like I said this earlier, treat the agents like human beings. Why are we penny pinching when we are in such shit position? If you're only penny pinching, really, right? If you're thinking, we're a mid-table club, like why should we like go for it? We're fucking nearly on the brink of relegation. This is the point now where you've got to look at all the targets that you failed to make last time and make the evaluations that make sense to the agents. Why are you going back to Danzo and going, you know how you didn't want us to have this? What about this? They're just gonna laugh at us because they know how desperate they are. They're just gonna keep rising the price over and over and over again. You should have gone in with the evaluation or just under. They are such shithouses when it comes to dealing with
Nothing will change, Dan. Nothing will change until you get rid of the dictator at the top of Wolves at the moment. Now, I'm pretty sure that I think it was the end of last year that he was given a £390,000 per year wage rise.
Yeah.
Now, if you give me, look, I hate rugby. I think it's the shittest game on the planet. It's a fucking mess of a game to me, right? You could give me a ticket for England, Scotland at Twickenham in the Six Nations, and I'd stand there and say, this is the biggest load of bollocks known to man. I hate it with a passion. So if you said to me, you can go and, I don't know, do the job that Jeff Shee does for Exeter Chiefs, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, if you said to me, there you go, there's a 390 grand a year wage rise. We're gonna batten down the hatches here. We're not spending a penny, and you just take all the flack. I'd do that because I've got no affiliation with that sport or that club. Now, Jeff Shee knows absolutely fuck all about football. Nothing. Now,
he admitted that himself.
Well, yeah, and he knows nothing, absolutely nothing. He doesn't even know how to speak about the game. He is inept at best. But what he is, he's a man firing bullets for an investment company that just shows green arrows going up all the time on their investment sheets. And that's all they're bothered about. They're not bothered about us winning anything. They'd gladly have us finish 17th every single year because they keep picking up loads of money and they keep doing it on the cheap. Now, you can't keep fucking doing that because the fan base is going to go mental soon. And hopefully there is a major chat in the summer because this is totally unacceptable now. 4 years I've been going on about this. 4 years ago, people thought I was a fucking loon, an absolute loon. We've never had it to good. We've never had it to good. We've had the best year. Thank you very much for years 1 to 4. Thank you. I've said it before. You did well, but 4 to 8, my fucking God, it is abysmal. Now, we are going to drop if we ain't careful. And don't be too deluded to think, oh, we'll come straight back up. No, we fucking won't.
There ain't enough players that'll want to stay. There's very players that want to stay now.
Think about it now. Who's going to go? Son, he'll be gone. Right, he ain't going to play in the championship, right? Semedo, gone. He ain't going to play in the championship. Nori, gone. He ain't going to play in the championship. Andre Gomez, Strand Larson will go. Okay? Gedge will go. Or there's 7 or 8 players straight away gone. They're not going to want to know. So all of a sudden you're left with Bellegarde, Rodrigo Gomez, Tommy Doyle. Okay. Now I went to Bristol City away. I don't know if you lads did, and I watched us for half an hour, 40 minutes. Absolutely steamroller them. They were dreadful. They were. I mean, it was miles off. And then we give them a chance. We give them one chance and it got their tails up a little bit. But we should have been 6 up at half time.
Yeah.
The gulf is huge.
Yeah.
But it won't be if we haven't got those players. And let's be honest, those players I've just mentioned have underperformed so badly, apart from João Gomez, really, have underperformed so badly that makes us one of the worst sides in the Premier League. And if the gulf is huge between us and Bristol City in 7th, well, we ain't going to come straight back up if we go down.
No, I agree with you, man. I agree with you. We'll be like Albion, won't we? We'll just live in mediocrity.
They'll beat us. That'll be the only good thing is an away trip to Albion.
Right, I'll come to you, John. What do you think about the state of the club at the moment? Like the ownership, the model the business model that we're trying to, invest in assets and sell them off and all that. What's your take on it so far? And do you think it's been as bad as it seems?
I think it's been really bad. You hear me, by the way, because I think one of my headsets has gone off.
Just about,
Just about. I just think mainly we've just had not big enough budget. We've been really poor in who we've signed. I think we've been thinking too much about bringing in youngsters, the future. Well, the future is now, and we need players to come in that are ready. And we saw that a little bit when we had that transfer window in January a couple of years ago. We brought players in like Lamina, but we didn't do that really in the summer. We brought in Bastian, who I know won for the summer. He's never going to kick a ball. Rodrigo Gomez looks good, but he's still a little bit lightweight. We should have really gone for players that we knew that could already had a little bit of Premier League experience. We knew that we needed a centre back. I can still remember the quotes. I think it was a month after the transfer window closed in around October, Matt Hobbs saying 4 centre backs is enough to get through the window, and then bang, Mosquera did his ACL. We're down to even less than that, and we've got people like Hugo Bueno out on loan. Who authorised Hugo Bueno to go out on loan?
Oh mate, that was Hobbs.
Do you know
that
what I
was.
mean? It was hard. I don't understand why they did that. So that was just a ridiculous decision. It reminds me of the decision when we let Traore go out to Barcelona. Who signed that off? There's just too many stupid decisions.
That was an agent thing. I think that was all about Mendes.
It was a stupid decision, and I just feel like they need someone to come in. Football. They need someone to come in that one's going to put their hand in the pocket, 2 knows a little bit more about football, and we can get this club up and running again. But I just hope that we can still be in the Premier League next season. But the way things are going, you look at Ipswich, they've just got Intesco on loan from Brighton. That's a quality loan deal, that is. Why weren't we over that? Godfrey.
Why don't we loan any? We don't even loan players
Evan
in.
Fergus is up for loan from Brighton. Why haven't we gone for him?
Yeah, I'd love to go for it. But you know what they're like. They won't pay the wages. There'll be a little bit of a loan fee. It's the reason why we didn't get the Chelsea defender, because they wouldn't pay the loan fee. I know he's been crap, but it's the reason we didn't get Brozier, because I know he's been crap, but they didn't pay the loan fee. But we could get these players in, and we're just not willing to spend the money. And in the end of the day, spending a few extra million now is a difference between losing hundreds of millions off the value of the club. I heard something stupid
like that though, John.
Yeah, they don't see it like that. They think the club's worth 400 million. It ain't going to be worth 400 million next season in the Championship. We'll probably make 200 million off players going. Cunha, massive fee. Gomez, massive fee. Larson, good fee. Do you know what I mean? We'll probably make some decent money from players going and stuff. But
the only trouble is, I reckon they've all got release clauses if we get relegated, and they're all going to be a lot less than what their evaluations are.
Massive trouble. Look at Leicester; they just got picked apart, didn't they? The lad went to Tottenham, got his name now, and then do you know what I mean? We got the Dewsbury Hall, Dewsbury Hall that went to Chelsea. They just get picked apart, don't you? Luckily, they came back up, but I think that was more down to having a top quality manager. The reason they went back up, but I just think there's been some really stupid decisions, and I think they've got a chance now. Not so much to make it up, but they have a window now in January where they can just bring in that's quality. Probably another forward, maybe a striker or someone that can play is maybe a striker and a winger, because I think we do need a winger. And maybe, if Lamina goes, maybe a different profile of midfielder. But that's all that I think that if they do that, we've got a chance. But at the moment, the way it is right now, I don't think we've got that much of a chance staying up. And I think that's because Ipswich are spending money, and I think that's our biggest threat. And I think they will get better than us, and I think they will get 3 points against us away. And I think that's the turning point. If they get 3 points against us, we're in massive trouble. And we already saw that in Sesko guy for Brighton. He only came on for 10 minutes. He got an assist. You know what I mean? If you think about him up front with Delap, they're going to start scoring goals now. They've got Godfrey in. He might start strengthening up the defence. They'll probably bring a couple of more players in. We're getting left behind here. So there's rumours today that there's like €1 million gap between what the club wants for Danzo. It's like £800,000.
Mate, it's not even about that, though. It's about the fact that they just treat the agents like utter fucking idiots. This is what I'm trying to say to you. I'm trying to say as much as I can without fucking my NDAs, but literally, right, they don't know how to talk to agents at all. They can't even... Matheus Cunha, right? Oh my God, I gotta be careful. Matheus Cunha, was fucking so close to signing these contracts. And he had one thing that he wanted, and that was just a little bit of a bit of insurance in case we got relegated, which we fucking owed him, in my opinion, because he ain't going to stay anyway at that point. Do you know what I mean? All you want is to keep him here until he leaves in the summer, just to keep us up. And they're still thinking, yeah, but I mean, that's going to be too low. I mean, this is it. And you're just thinking, mate, just let things happen the way they should happen. Why are we so finicky about any sort of decision that's trying to go over the line? We nearly fucked up the Agbadou deal as well. The Agbadou deal nearly got fucked over as well. You know what I mean? We were in for Webster.
When it comes to stuff like that,
we were in for Webster for ages, and we fucked that up. And it's just like, how many deals can you fuck up before you actually start looking at our recruitment team? They're Hobbs. He literally, they say over and over and over and over and over again how good he is, mate. He is. You know what he's really good at, and he's really good at this: getting his scouts to go into the right areas, right? And his scout team are actually really good. The targets that we actually get are fantastic targets, but then they go to other clubs because as soon as Hobbs is out the picture, and now they've got to talk to agents and sort out player housing and all this fucking shit. They don't know what they're doing, man. It just becomes an actual joke, and they must just be thinking, why would I go to Wolverhampton if I'm just going to be treated like this before I've even talked to anyone, before I've even gone in the dressing room? Why the hell would I go to this club? The owners are fucking awful, and they try. And Jeff he tries to do too much. Do you see what I'm trying to say? He tries to be the Swiss Army knife, and he ain't even a fucking spoon. Do you know what I mean? He tries to be this all-encompassing fucking tool that can do everything, and he can't do anything. That's the problem. He
doesn't want to relinquish any power to anyone, though, Danny. He's a fucking dictator.
Oh,
Dictators want followers. They don't want leaders. Me and you would delegate the work to the relevant people. The people that are really good at their job, we delegate that to them. But dictators, they don't want to give anybody any power. There's a bloke out there at the moment called Dan Ashworth. He lives local, and I believe his son plays for our academy. Dan Ashworth is one of the best recruiters of people in the game. Now, if they had any brain, they would go and say, how much do you want? But you know why they won't? Because for Dan Ashworth to come to our club, he'd say, you fucking leave me alone to do my job. No, that's not going to happen. They are not going to do that. I wouldn't be surprised if Jeff Shee finally goes this summer. But Jeff Shee will be replaced by another company person inside Fosun.
Clueless guy, probably.
Exactly the same thing. And they'll get 4 or 5 years of flack then with 500-600 grand a year and nice expense bill and stuff like that. And then when their time's up, it'll happen again if we haven't been sold by then. But, Jeff Shee, anybody who works in that club will tell you he is an utter little wanker. He stands there waiting for people to open the door for him. That's the kind of person he is.
What about all the shit? What about all the shit with trying to change the things last minute for the kids? You know what I mean?
There you go.
Last minute leaves it off the fucking thing before we get signed.
Yeah, 3 hours of meetings about the season tickets last year, and right at the death when he'd already agreed to the reductions for concessions, he decided to change his mind. He said, "No, I'm not going to go through with it." And he was pulled up. He said, "We don't." The person that pulled him up from the trust said, "We don't work like that in this country." It's on record here in these minutes that you have said this and agreed to it, and he still dug his heels in. And in the end, he agreed to stick by what he said, but he was going to turncoat on a deal agreed after 3 hours. He is an utter wanker, and we need him out of this club. But he's only firing bullets for the people above him.
True. Right, Dancy, come on. It's like a bloody therapy session. I feel like a fucking therapist. Right, you're all on sofas in my office, and I'm just letting you speak your mind. Do you know what I mean?
I can't follow that. I think it's a sad state of affairs, really. It's so frustrating when you see clubs sign these players. Oh, he's a good player. He always scores against us. He's good. He is. Why aren't we on? Why aren't we doing that? We're not a small club. We haven't just come up. We're a founding, original club. We shouldn't be in this position, should we?
They don't want to. They don't want to pay the people to do the jobs. That's the problem. They don't want to. They don't want to pay people to do so many jobs. They just want Hobbs to do everything. They just want Jeff to do everything. Hobbs literally is this. This is what Hobbs does. Okay, basically, he researches talent. That's all he does. He researches talent, and then he gets a bunch of people to go out to these places to see if they're any good or not. Puts them on a list, gives it to the manager, and says, "Right, there's a few." And then the manager will go, "Oh yeah, I know about this one." And then because those two things are interlinked, right? He'll then go to whoever the chairman is or whoever's there, because Jeff's never there, by the way. So whoever's there to tell Jeff to fucking pick his bastard phone up, stop playing Rocket League, the little cretin. Do you know what I mean? And just be like, put the controller down, Jeff, a minute. There's some good players here. And he'll take one look and go, yeah, all right, but like, do we need them? Do we need them right now? Is this something we need right now? And then they'll cry out and over and over and over, and there'll be emails going back and forward over and over and over and over again. And then eventually they'll go to one of my mates and say, right, there's a player here. He needs picking up from 9 times out of 10 it's Houston Airport. We're picking him up from Houston Airport. Get him a house and everything, and it's all good, right? The amount of fucking times, these guys they get told over and over again, this player's coming over, blah blah, and it doesn't happen. Guys, it would make your head spin. The amount of times Jeff and these chairmen get together and say, nah, too much, or whatever the excuse is. It's always an excuse. There's always excuses.
Dan, we could have signed Gyökeres from Coventry for 18 million quid 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, I know.
Have a look at his stats over 2 seasons for Sporting Lisbon.
I know.
He'll go for 100 million quid to somewhere like Arsenal this summer.
He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to leave Portugal now, does he?
But we let a player like that go. Honestly, it's so poorly run. I can't get my head round people that say, "Be careful what you wish for." How can it get any worse?
It can't. The only way it gets worse now is we get relegated and they stay. That's literally the only thing that gets
people
worse.
People go on about you lads probably wouldn't remember it, about the Barty brothers in the mid 80s, late 80s. Now we were in the 4th division. We were dreadful. It was terrible. But had they not been there, we would have gone out of business.
Liquidated.
We'd have gone. So we had to take a bad owner to then get half decent ones, and we started to rise back up the leagues. But these people are the richest people we've ever had owning our club. They're rich beyond any of our wildest dreams. But it's the way that they...
8 billion, I think they're worth.
8 billion. Okay, 8 billion quid. I bet you were about 7th or 8th in the rich list in the Premier League. So, but it's this self-sustainability bullshit does not work. You've only got to have one bad window, one bad transfer window, and the whole thing's fucked. It's gone.
You have like six bad transfer windows.
Well, there you go. We've had 6. There's no wonder we're where we are at the moment. Honestly, it's just a joke. Just a joke. I'd love a meeting with Jeff Shue in his office and say, "Look, Jeff, come on, explain this to me. Tell me what's going on." Honestly, he'd say, "What are you going on about?" He would not have a fucking clue what was going on. He thinks he thinks it's good. I don't even think he realises what relegation is.
No, he does know what relegation is.
This bloke's fucking thick as fuck.
But the thing is, he only knows basic things that earn less money or more money. He doesn't know the offside rule. You know what I mean? This geezer has no idea what the fucking offside.
Does he
rule is.
realise that the money, the TV rights, are about 11 million quid in the Championship per
Oh
team?
yeah,
And in the Premier League, it's about about 90.
I know. You know what's really funny as
Different,
well? Do you know what's really funny as well? They keep signing off on all these different Premier League agreements. Like they're already going to they're already adamant that they're staying next season. They're already signed off a load of them.
but
They're
do you
already...
know why, don't you, Dan? I'll tell you the reason behind that. Next year is 2026 World Cup. As you know, I go and watch England home and away as well.
Yeah.
But the Russia and Qatar, the two biggest payers of corporate sponsorships for countries around the world, spending $1.3 billion per tournament on just advertising and sponsorship, was China. Now, the Chinese Communist Party will be telling Fosun now, I would think, don't get rid of Wolves. Do not get rid of Wolves yet, because the World Cup's coming up, and we need a company that owns a Premier League football team.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me in 2027 after that World Cup that it gets sold.
Yeah. Well, we already know, don't we, that there's interest and everything in part ownership and stuff, but there's no one out there of the likes of Fosun that are just going to buy us and promise all of the things. And like it's like you said, to be fair, Sutty, like, yeah, okay, thank you for the Championship for the first 2 seasons under Nuno, but then after COVID, it's just gone downhill. And you could blame COVID as much as you want, but at the end of the day, you're still earning loads of money. Fucking Fosun boomed after
Fosun did boom because in the November before COVID, November 2019, Fosun decided, I believe, to set up a PPE company doing masks and gloves and everything. And then within a year, that company, before we even knew about COVID, has made $1.5 billion of profit. I'll tell you what, they're shit out of making money. They just don't like fucking spending it.
Yeah, this is exactly the thing, isn't it? You know what, Benji, you've been sitting there patiently. I'm sure you've got a lot to say about this absolutely dross ownership that we've got at the helm. Anything you want to add on what you've heard so far?
I think the one thing I want to add, if you give me, I don't know, 2 minutes to read this list, I'm not going to make any points. I'm just going to read you this list.
Go ahead.
In the last 5 years, we've had Diogo Jota leave and be replaced by Fabio Silva. We've had Patricio leave and be replaced by Jose Sarr. We've had Romain Saiss leave and be replaced by Nathan Collins, who is now gone. We signed Sasha Kalajic, who we already knew was injury prone.
Spaghetti
we let
for
Willy
legs.
Bolly leave, signed no one to replace him. We let Ruben Neves leave and signed no one to replace him. We let Matthias Nunes leave and replaced him with Bellegarde. We let Cody leave and replaced him with Santiago Bueno. We let Raul leave, didn't replace him with anyone. We let Matinho leave, didn't replace him with anyone. We let Traore leave, we didn't replace him with anyone. We let Kilman leave, we didn't replace him with anyone. We sold Neto, didn't replace him with anyone. We spent about 10 million on Johnson for no reason. Like you said, we loaned Hugo Bueno out, made absolutely no sense. We were screaming for a centre-back, and we signed Andre. Like that's all within the span of however many windows. Tells you all you need to know about the ownership. Completely useless. And like, I'm not one to go on a rant about player performances, managers, etc. I have so much patience for them because I know that so many of the issues that have come out in those areas, both in the playing squad and the managing squad, are because of the owners. And that's why I'm Fosun out, because, you know, performances on the pitch are all all to do with the running of the club. And you can tell that a club's being run poorly when the results are consistently bad. Like, it's not the fact, there's this little spell we're going on at the moment, but before that it was fine. For these past 5 years, sort of post Europe, or that season we missed out on Europe and we finished 7th, everything has consistently got worse after that. Like consistent 13th place finishes, like almost getting relegated. And this season, you see where we are in the table. It's just 5 years of consistently getting worse and worse. And it's, as fans, we don't deserve this, and we need to speak out about it.
This is it, mate. Really well put, man. And I mean, hearing that list is just so jaunting, isn't it? Like, I mean, we were talking about it on the chat, weren't we? We just couldn't believe it. Like, oh god, just why would you get rid of like huge assets and make a load of money if you're not going to put that money where your mouth is and sign players? You aren't running even a business right, let alone running a football club right. Who the fuck goes, I'm going to let go of my best employees and replace them with utter clowns? Like, who does that? No one. So why is it that it happens in football? They've not even got business brains, let alone football brains. So we're being too nice to them, saying that they're a good company, because there might be a good company at selling, electric goods and everything, but probably because they've got shitloads of people that can sell products. Do you know what I mean? We're not thinking about the fact that under their actual firm, they've probably got shitloads of people that are really good at what they do. Whereas at Wolves, they've hired Matt Hobbs, who was fantastic at what he did, and then said, you may as well do everything, Hobbsy. You know what I mean? You may as well fucking do everything. Why not? Because Jeff does everything in his office. You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. Hire staff that can do more. Why are we just like cutting corners in a Premier League squad, Premier League team? There can't be worse owners than us in the Premier League. I don't give a shit. We got United fans moaning all the while, but you look at who they've bought recently. These are players under the right manager will flourish and become very good. It's only because they've had how many managers come in and all of the players don't fit, the managers that come in after. Eventually, things are gonna go well for them, and they're gonna be okay because they just keep buying and it's okay, and they'll click. We won't fucking click.
And the trouble as well is, the trouble you've got here is, it's quite clear players are being said, get to Wolves, you'll get a big club if you do well in the first year. They're not really buying into the club or the badge, mate. We're basically taking on mercenaries a lot of the time who don't want to win things with Wolves because they know. You got your fucking chairman going out public last summer in the local rag saying, if you want to win trophies or compete for stuff, then maybe Wolves ain't the club for you. Well, if I'm an aspiring player who wants to actually win things, and I've got Wolves coming in for me, or say somebody like, I don't know, the Villa or Fulham, I'm going to say, fuck Wolves. The chairman don't want to win nothing. I'm just going to be losing every week, and that's going to make me as a player look worse because I'm not going to be shining in an half decent side. You're never, ever, ever going to do any good when you're bringing players in with the mindset of Nunes, probably Cunha as well, to be honest. Now, although Cunha's done well for us, he wouldn't have come here with the thought of I'm going to win, getting to Europe and that all the time. He probably thought that when Lopetegui was here, but since then, I mean, he must have wondered what the fucking hell was going on with Gary O'Neill was appointed.
Oh mate, honestly,
nobody wanted the job. Nobody wants to come to Wolves. I haven't got old gold tinted glasses on, and we're not an attractive club to come to, and it's all down to how it's run and the people that own us. We're 17th in the pay list, 17th. So, although we think these players get lots and lots of money, in the list of Premier League clubs, they're paupers. So if Fulham come in for, I don't know, one of our players, let's say Fulham go for João Gomez, instantly they'll double his money and he'll be in London. Happy days. Wolverhampton, I love Wolverhampton. We all love Wolverhampton.
Yeah.
But you've got to sell it. And the only way they're going to do that is to get players there saying, look at this beautiful 50,000 seat stadium we've built. We're going places. The fucking place is falling down, mate.
There's nothing happening, by the way, with the Steve Ball stand. They keep saying that they're going to do stuff with it. There's fuck all happening. There's literally nothing happening. Nothing's going on at all.
Well, they'll have to do something to it in 2 years because it's got fucking concrete cancer and it's falling down. They're going to have to bulldoze the fucking thing down soon.
Yeah, they'll do it then.
Okay,
I mean,
where are they going to
it's like-
put everybody as well then? Where's everyone going?
Well, they won't fill it, will they, soon? Do you know what I mean?
Still
The
got to
Korean
give your
fans
away
won't be here.
support. Still got to give your away supporters somewhere to go. But it's just such inept planning. I mean, in COVID, that was a time to either do the ground up. That was the time.
Yeah.
Because what you want to do today, building wise, will not be cheaper tomorrow.
No.
Today is the cheapest day you'll get it. I guarantee you. Okay?
Yeah.
So if you're saying, oh, we'll wait 2 years, guess what? Another 100 million.
You're right, you know. You're fucking
I
right
know
there,
I'm
man.
right. I do it for a living. I know I'm
Yeah.
right. If you ask me for a price today, it'll be cheaper today than it is tomorrow. Or at least in a month's time. It'll be more expensive in a month's time. These people have got no plan for this club. The only way we're going to get this club up out the doldrums is to start investing in infrastructure, which will then entice players to come because, hey, we all like to look at not something nice and shiny, don't we? All of us. You'll tempt them in then, and then ultimately give them a plan of what you plan to do with this football club. And if you say, we plan to get in the Europa League or the Conference League, and if you do it, they'll come. But they're not interested in doing it because to do that, you've got to spend major money, and they don't want to spend any more than 17th. That's fact.
It's fact, mate. You're completely correct. And the thing is, I don't know where the ambition went. Do you know what I mean? Like, the ambition must have been there when we were 7th and we were putting in, you know, some serious talent and some youth and everything. And our academy as well. Like, our academy is fucking awful now. Like, we've got no one to even look down on and go, okay, fair enough. Maybe like Alfie Pond, essentially, is probably the one guy, and you know, it is just absolutely from the core. It is absolutely rotten at the moment. This club is. It ain't getting any better, man. I'm telling you.
Dan, what's the most expensive thing for a global conglomerate? What's their most expensive outlay? Worldwide advertising. There are 1 billion viewers of the Premier League every weekend. And a big majority of that viewing audience will see Fosun International flashing up around the side of Molineux every other week. Yeah. Now, they're getting that on the cheap. Yeah. It's such a cheap way of getting your name and your brand around the world. It's the cheapest way you could do it. It would cost them hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars every year to do that without Wolves. Yeah. They don't spend hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions on Wolves every year.
They only spend money when we're in the shit. That's the only time they spend money. They I can't remember the last time like we were in a sort of middle table range where they've helped us. Like with Gary O'Neill, like we were screaming for signings. We were mid-table. We were doing okay, but you could see that obviously there was a lot of injuries and everything, and they didn't fucking support us at all. And it's just like
they won't put money into it if you're halfway though, Dan, because they don't want to go to the next level because that's going to cost them more money.
Yeah, that's it.
They don't want that. They're happy to just stay between 17th and 13th. Perfection for them. They don't want to have to buy more players to go into Europe. Oh, no chance. And they've been very clever what they've done. Year one, well, it was a shambles year one. Walter Zenga, Paul Lambert, or Rob Edwards, all of these managers. And then we get this bloke called Nuno. Let's be honest. None of us knew who he was, and we thought he was another Walter Zenga. Yeah. We win the league. But not only did we win the league, we brought in Neves, Jota, Willy Bolly, these kind of players. And we were Premier League ready, really, with that start. We'd have finished 15th, 16th without adding Rui Patricio, Raul Jimenez, Matinho. We'd have finished, we wouldn't have gone down.
Yeah.
So what they've done is they've spent quite big in years 2 and 3 and 4. And that puts them on a global map. That puts that Wolves brand global again.
Yeah.
Our brand is so global, we don't even have to put our name underneath it. Everybody who knows football in the world knows that badge.
Yeah.
Just need Wolverhampton Wanderers under it. In fact, as well, going on that, if you look round the ground, there's nothing that says Wolverhampton Wanderers. The brand has just been changed to Wolves. There's nothing Wolverhampton anywhere around that ground really now.
Yeah.
It's about Wolves. And they've changed the brand completely because as soon as everybody knows who owns Wolves worldwide. And it's very clever marketing. It keeps them in the forefront of any advertising. Cheap, mate. It's so cheap for them. They don't really want to let us go because that advertising will cost them an absolute fortune now.
Yeah. Mate, you spot on, man. Everything you've said, spot on. I mean, all the lads today, honestly, you've all been absolutely spot on. But at the end of the day, our voices, it's good to get it out the open. It's good to talk to people about it and everything. But it's like you said, so it ain't changing because why would it? There's no reason for it to change in their minds. Like, we'll probably still stay up. We probably will because I guarantee you, we'll probably still win a couple of games, and the other teams will probably lose because we have got quality. We have, but I tell you now, next season, if we do stay up and they don't do what they're supposed to do, we need to protest, man, because it can't go on. It's like dicing with death every single season, man.
The thing is, Dan, it's your look. Like I say, I've been going to Wolves 47 years. I'm getting old, 54 now. You're young lads. This is your club for the future. And if you become too passive and accepting of crap, honestly, there used to be like bloody pitch invasions and that years ago, and they'd blockade the front entrance and stuff like that if it weren't going right. But it's so passive now because they've priced all of the probably very vocal people at this club.
Yeah.
And you've got it's your club. It's yours. You're the future of this club. No good getting old blokes like us to do it now. We're too old.
Yeah. You're right, mate.
You've got to stand up and hold them to account. If you're not happy with it, always question what they're doing. And I'm not just on about these, the next owners that come in. If it ain't quite going right, go public and ask questions. Never be frightened to ask questions. This is a free country and you can ask anything you want. Anything. They're used in their country to not having to ask questions. Nobody asks questions over there, mate. You disappear if you ask too many questions over there. Well, we don't live like that over here. So never be frightened to ask questions of something that you aren't happy with.
Completely agree.
100%.
Right, my closing parts of this show. First of all, predictions for the next game: Wolves versus Villa. John, I'm going to come to you first.
You're going to say this is optimistic, but I've just got a feeling it might be a draw. I don't know what it is. Sometimes when you play Villa, obviously, the last couple of games haven't been that great, but previously, we've always turned up against them, and I just feel like, we didn't get the win against Arsenal, but I didn't think we played that bad. And I do feel like the new defender is getting better and better. So if he can do anything like what he did against Arsenal, we've got one hell of a player. But I just feel like Villa have just dropped off a little bit. I think they've not won a game in 5.
which probably means they'll come and destroy us. But I'm just gonna put it out there. I think we've been a derby. Anything can happen. I think it's going to be 2-2. And normally against a lot of teams, I'd say we'd lose. But I just feel like with Villa, we've been a derby and everything. They're in a bit of bad form at the moment. They've got, I think Ming's got injured and stuff. Not that he's going to probably play anyway, but they're not looking as good anymore. So I'm going to be optimistic and say a draw. But
they haven't won their last 3. I think they won against Everton just about 1-0, and then. Yeah, I mean they've not looked massively convincing. Even against Leicester, it's 2-1. So you are right; they are on a little bit of a shake. But I tell you what, it's up to Wolves, isn't it? Because at the end of the day, it don't matter who we play at the moment. We got Blackburn soon. If we turn up to Blackburn, right, and just be like, I'll show up. I suppose I'll put the shirt on, I'll put my boots on. I'll see how I feel on the day. But if I feel like shit, I'm just going to act like I feel like shit because who cares? If they're like that, I'd see us even fucking losing to them. To be honest, I'd see us losing to Blackburn. So, you know what? I love the optimism, John. I do, and you know what?
I probably deep down don't think this will happen, but it's just that one game. With it being a derby, like a derby game, something could happen. I don't know. I'm getting my hopes up a little bit. I'm getting my hopes up a little bit, but I just felt like there was a little bit of a turning point after Chelsea. I don't think Arsenal. I was in the stadium. Obviously, we lost, but I didn't think we were, especially the first half. Even until they lost, I thought we were giving it a good go. Yeah, we had the player selection was shit. Completely blame the manager. Sarabia shouldn't be starting. Guedes should be starting. Or Rodrigo Gomez. I think if he starts realising the errors of his way, I think that maybe we can get... Just because Villa don't look that good, I don't think. They looked okay for the first 10, 20 minutes in the last game they played, but they tailed off a little bit. They've looked like they've got the Champions League hangover a little bit.
They're fighting a lot of fronts, aren't they, to be fair with them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're struggling. Cool. They've had too much game time against Champions. So, yeah, I think this... Just because it's a derby, I think if it was Villa, like... I just feel like any other team... like around that kind of position in the table, we'll probably lose. But we've been a derby, and I reckon the fans might actually be up for it. They've been a bit shit in the stadium recently, but I think with it being Villa, we might be a bit more vocal. I don't know. Maybe we'll get something out of it. Maybe it'll be a draw. That's what I think.
So just before we carry on, Neil says, will Larson be back? From what I've heard, the injury's not as bad as that he made out, to be fair.
Yeah, he was spotted at the train station a few hours later. I think he was going somewhere with his missus, and he said he was
I don't think that's an awful one. He'd probably be on the bench. I think he'll be on the bench, to be honest. Cool. So I'll come to you, Dan. What you thinking, Aston Villa at home? 5:30 kickoff as well, by the way.
Yeah, well, I thought this one was a 5:30 kickoff, but it wasn't. So that was a.
So you were late.
Wolverhampton, yeah. No, I was all right. Just about made it. Well, as you know, I will never predict Wolves are going to lose, even if I probably think they will. It'll be 2-1 to Wolves. If like John said, we were on par with Arsenal in the first half of that game. I
agree. I'm going to be honest. I do agree, but it's just that second half that let us down. We just seem to just take our foot off the gas, and I think if you do that against Villa, I think we'll get. I honestly think we'll lose. But carry on. Sorry, Dan.
I think if the manager just says gets the players in, and he goes to Sarabia, he goes, "Are you going to be shit?" and shows him when he was shit, and he'll go, "Yeah, I might be shit." Then don't play him. Play the good players who aren't shit. Do you know what I mean? Because he's awful. He's always on the list, and he's terrible. He's slow. He's negative. I just play the good players.
You need someone like Rodrigo Gomez that's going to play for the badge, play with the heart.
Yeah. Same with Gomez. I mean, it's gonna be a shitty one not having João Gomez, to be fair. But it's one of them things. Like, at least it's only a game. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think some of these players need rest as well. I'll be honest. Like, I think Strand Larsen's a good player. I just think he's just playing out of his arse cheeks because, like, there's no one there on the bench going, Yosin, yeah, do you want me to come on? And he's just, there's no one because he's just there going, fuck, how long am I going to have to be doing this for? Because there's no one other than Hwang Hee-chan and no fucker wants that bastard on the pitch. So what the hell am I doing? I'm just going to run around chasing the fucking shadows until me hamstrings snap. That's literally why he's been so poor recently. He's got no competition whatsoever. So he's going to play way more minutes than he needs to.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because I get figures every now and then from training sessions, and I can tell you now, he's been in the fatigue zone for fucking ages. And Hwang Hee-chan, when he started going down to shit, when he was when he had all that, that time in Korea and everything in the World Cup, mate, when he come back, his fatigue numbers were minus. He was due an injury from the day he started training again. And our fucking stupid managers and stupid teams just go, we got no choice. Fucking Gary O'Neill, man. What an actual idiot, man. Why the hell would you keep playing players that they aren't fit? They're not fit. Stop playing players that aren't fit. You did the same to Neto. Neto's figures were fucking awful. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, there's only so many times like we're gonna get away with this. But yeah, so John, you gave your prediction. Dan, you gave your prediction. Sutty, what is your prediction for Villa? Go on.
Well, we've got to win.
Yeah.
We can't afford to lose this one. Not with the two games of Ipswich, Southampton, Leicester, Everton. If Leicester beat Everton, what are Everton? 7 points in front of us, something like that at the moment.
Mate, Everton are flying now.
26 or something, are they?
By the way, here's another. Sorry. I need to bring this up. David Moyes didn't join Wolves because of the self-sustaining model. He would have joined Wolves. He had absolutely no problem whatsoever with joining Wolves. He said, it's a big club. I'd love to do that. That'd be great. And then Jeff, and you know what? I'm giving him too much credit. The guy that was there instead of Jeff, as his spokesman, basically said, this is our model. And none of them, Graham Potter was there as well. None of them fucking want it because they know there's no depth to this squad whatsoever. Absolutely. And it would just be a losing battle before you've even started.
Yep.
The only reason we've got the manager we've got now is because he's desperate to play in the Premier League. Guarantee any other club would have reached out to him, he'd have took them instead, because the self-sustained model only works when you've got a giant depth. The academy at Brighton, by the way, is one of the best in the Premier League. They pick out teams. They pick out players like that because their ownership know exactly what about football, to a point where a lot of their owners are betting people that made a shitload of money betting on fantastic upcoming players to do well. So they put a shitload of money on these players. They do well because of all the figures they get given. So what an incredible feat of brilliance that is from a football team, to be able to be like, that's a really good idea. You know what you're doing there? Why don't we do that at a football club? And then that's what happened. And then Jeff was like, I like Brighton. I like Seagulls. The blue and white's nice.
But you've got to have. You can't just decide to do it. You can't just say from the beginning of next season we're going to go fully self-sustainable. Can't do it. You've got to have everything in place for 2 or 3 years and then blend into it. And the ones that are in the background have got to be ready to go. Like I said to you earlier, what we've done is we've decided we're going to do it. We sell all our best players and go on the hunt for kids of the future.
Yeah.
You can't do it like that. Everybody that keeps coming through the door has got to be molded in the same way as the ones that are playing now. And as soon as you sell the ones that are playing, these just gradually move in and it's seamless. Not us. Fucking hell, we're a joke. Anyway, we'll win 2-1 against the Villa. Hopefully.
That's it. Sutty, love it.
I hope so.
Absolutely love it.
Come on, Dan. We're going to hear your prediction now.
Fucking hell. Look, my heart's saying we'll win them just about, like a 1-0. But my head's saying we're going to lose 3-0. Because the problem is with this team at the moment, it ain't about the opposition. They're fighting in the fucking dressing rooms before they've even got on the pitch. So how the hell are they going to have the mentality to play a team that's doing so well, with a manager that's doing so well, with the fans all up for it? And I'm not being funny, but they're stealing our signings now, by the way. Do you know what I mean? Like, Matt Hobbs has had Disassi in his fucking list for God knows how long. And now they're just like, what's that you got there? What's that? It's like some little kid trying to copy your own work when you're in school. They're just there going, oh, yeah, we're bigger than you. Yeah, we'll have him. Sound. Thanks for that, Hobbsy. And that's it. So, in terms of the game, any game's winnable. Any game is winnable. It is. But if you turn up like you did against Chelsea, we're getting fucked. If you turn up the way you did at the first half against Arsenal, we might get something from it. But we need to be clinical. We need to finish the chances because they ain't going to give you many, Villa ain't. You know what I mean?
You'll know within 10 minutes, Dad, of after kickoff. By 20 to 6, you'll know if they're up for it or not. Because the Villa will come. The Villa will give you chances because they play such an high line. They will give you chances.
We can't even play the same way though, because we're likely not to start our number 9, who's a big bloke who can get about and try and hold the ball up. So we probably won't even play the same way, because the way that we've been playing recently is basically lump the ball up to him, make sure he can probably try and get it under his spell, which is probably about a 40% chance, no, not 9 times out of 10, and then maybe try and get it to someone wide, and then hope to God that Semedo's up there or Aït-Nouri's up there to help out as well, because our system is fantastic, but we ain't got the players to play it, to be honest. If I'm honest with you, Vitor Pereira's system is really, really good, but we ain't got the players to be able to play it. We're starting to. Agbadou is a fantastic signing.
Would you play Aït-Nouri further up on the left and bring Rodrigo Gomez in behind him?
Yeah, I would. 100%.
The only problem is with that is that if you start the game like that, you've got no one to sub for. Do you know what I mean? So if they're both having stinkers, you're fucked on that side, though.
I do think Totti might be available to come off the bench here as left back if you have any problems.
From what I've heard, he's full training, so he'll probably play.
Oh, sweet.
So he'll probably play, but I mean, what does that offer? Like, Totti's arguably better, you know. So he could shift Agbadou onto the right. That would definitely something for sure. Might help a lot. Without João Gomez, you're probably thinking you're probably gonna have to start Doyle, ain't you?
Yeah. Well, yeah, because you ain't gonna start Lamina.
And you ain't gonna well, he ain't gonna, mate. He ain't even gonna. He's gonna have his fucking slippers on, you know, at home with a hot cup of cocoa. Like, he ain't give a shit.
It's gonna have to be Andre. It's gonna have to be Andre and
Doyle.
I'm quite looking forward to that though, because I think Joe Gomez and Andre are very similar players. So to have Andre and Doyle, some kind of different kind of profiles a little bit, I think, I think that'll be interesting.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind, even if you're thinking of like people to put there. I don't mind. I don't mind giving players certain minutes in positions that they've looked decent in the past. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like a 2-man midfield, it's okay if you've got athleticism there. If you've got players that are going to cover every blade of grass like you've got with João Gomez, that you sound. My issue is Doyle can be like that, but he has also other times where he looks like he's just on his arse 9 times out of 10, trying to catch shadows, similar to what happens up front when you're playing like Bellegarde or Hwang or someone. I really want Doyle to do well.
Got it right here. you can see what he's going to do. He'll put Bellegarde in with Andre.
Yeah, or he'll do a 3-man with Doyle, Bellegarde, and Andre. Or he might do a 3 with Larson being out. He'll probably put someone like Cunha and Awang or Cunha and Guedes up front in a 2.
He's got to start.
We'll play a
start
5-3-2. You watch.
He's got to start Guedes. He's got to.
I like Guedes.
Yeah.
I think he looks really good.
But he might play Cunha and Guedes up front.
Yeah.
No, I don't hate that. They link up well together.
They do.
Unlike fucking
put Doyle
Wang,
in the middle. Doyle could be, or Bellegarde. There could be like a 10 almost, like a false 9.
Hwang drives me nuts, man. I'm sorry. Like, I keep coming back to it. But the last game, man, honest to God, the amount of times Cunha must have just be thinking, bro, it's a pass. It's literally, you literally look at me, right? You point where you want the pass, and I'll put the pass there. If you're going to point that way, and then don't even run, and then complain because the through ball that I've just passed you to you has gone out for a goal kick. That's on you, not on me. So I don't blame Cunha sometimes for having a bit of a fucking go at players, because sometimes he must be thinking, if it weren't for me, you'd be where Southampton are now. So you need to start playing on my wavelength.
He's got to have his head on as well, though, Dan. Because if he's off it on Saturday, we ain't winning.
I agree.
He's got to get his head on it.
I completely agree. My last question, and then we're going to call it a day. It's been a fantastic podcast, by the way. Thank you so much, guys, for joining, and Sutty for your debut. Guys, are we staying up? I'm going to John.
I personally don't think we will. I think we'll be back in the Championship next season. And I think that's because I don't think they'll make the signings we want. I think they... I don't know. I just think behind the scenes in the dressing room, it's not sunshine rainbows that everyone thinks. I know obviously we know a little bit different, but I'm talking about most Wolves fans. I think with the ownership and everything, I think it's rotten. And I do think Ipswich are making some decent signings. And I think we'll probably see in the next week, we'll probably make a couple of more signings. I think Everton are almost out of reach, and I think they'll keep.
We could have done with Everton struggling, you know. That's another thing.
And I don't think they will, because Moyes is too good. So it's between us and Ipswich, and I think Ipswich, like, they've got these new wingers coming in. They've got a new centre back. They've got a few new signings probably in the next in the next week, and I don't think we'll make the signings that will make us stronger. And I think Ipswich will get more points. I think Ipswich will beat us when we play them away, and I think that will screw us.
We're not getting Oxlade-Chamberlain.
We're linked to Oxlade-Chamberlain, who's made of glass. So personally, it's I'm almost 50-50, but I'm just going slightly over, thinking that Ipswich will do enough to stay up and we'll go down.
Oh, Jesus, yeah. Dan, what are you thinking?
At the moment, we're staying up. I don't know how. We're just staying up.
Okay.
But ask me next week.
So you think it will be Southampton, Ipswich, and Leicester that go down?
Yeah, I think so.
We'll be 17th.
Oh yeah, 100%. We're not going to stay up easily. We'll just scrape it, I think.
Okay. Sutty?
Well, big concern is if we don't get nothing from Villa, we've then got Liverpool, then Bournemouth away. And I just think 6 or 7 losses on the bounce again is just the rotting, isn't it? You've got to pick them all up again. This game next week is huge. We've got to win. We have to win. Oxlade-Chamberlain, that can't be true. If that's what they're looking at, then no.
It's not. It's more like. It's more just like talks, isn't it? It's just links.
Gotta be. They'd never go for him. He's only played 6 games in a year. Who's going to go for him? My heart says we'll stop up in 17th, but like I said to you right at the beginning of this, if we get a Ipswich on the same points or behind them on points, we're down, mate. Because they'll beat us. They'll beat us up at Ipswich. They'll be so up for it. The crowd will be bouncing, and that they'll beat us. And we've got to be 3 or 4 points in front of Ipswich by the time that game comes. I just can't
So,
see it.
I'm gonna tell you the truth, guys. We're going down. We are going down. No, there's no question about it. The club itself is rotten. The difference is with Leicester, Ipswich, and Southampton is that there are some people in that club, ownership wise, or somewhere like they've got good captains, they've got good leaders. We have nothing at the moment. We are absolutely we're in the dark. We are absolutely in the dark at the moment with what's going on with this club, and I can only see us going down. I can't see where the win comes from, guys. The only win that's on the win in the horizon is Southampton, and by the time we reach Southampton, we've already lost God knows how many games. Ipswich and Leicester they're going to start picking points up, and it's going to be between them who stays up. I'm really sorry, but it makes me emotional talking about it, because if we go down, I'm telling you now, we ain't going up for a very long time.
We'll do a league, so we'll stay down there for a bit.
Because the amount of money we lose, right? The amount of interest we'll get, the amount of players that will leave, it will just be catastrophic. And Fosun, they'll say over and over again that we are, out of PSR and out of this. Mate, we're in a lot of fucking debt, by the way. So if we go into the Championship, it's going to be even hard to buy players in the Championship to get us back up there. I'm sorry, I really don't want to be negative. I really don't. But with everything I've heard and with everything I've seen recently, I've got a mate that used to work at the club. And I shouldn't really talk about this, but you lads know about it. And he's such a nice guy, man. And they've fucked him. They've absolutely fucked him, man. And it's so upsetting to hear from someone the state of a club that you've been supporting for 30 odd years, man. When all you've had when you was a kid is there's at least heart in your club. Do you know what I mean? You've got everyone supporting United, Liverpool, whatever, when you're in school. I supported Wolves through and through. It didn't matter if we were shit, whatever. There was heart there. You know what I mean? And when we used to get a fucking draw in the Premier League, it was huge. Do you know what I mean? I still love it. So yeah, okay, we are in the best times now, but we ain't even seen the worst times under Fosun yet. We ain't even seen them, guys. This is the fucking worry. We haven't even seen it. When we were in the Championship with Fosun last time, they were putting the money in the pockets. They were doing everything. We go down this time, they ain't going to give a shit about Wolves. Maybe the esports thing, because that's still booming, by the way. That's fucking great, that is. And Sudo, that's made them more money than any other merchandiser that we've ever been with. So if you want to talk about ownership of a football club, we've got the worst ones. If you want to talk about an ownership over a brand, probably one of the best ones in the Premier League, to be honest. Like the way they've got us over the seas and everything. I mean, they opened up a fucking Chinese mega store, right? They opened up a Chinese mega store, and we'd only been in the Premier League with them a season. So where's that ambition gone? Where's that ambition? That's what I'm wondering. Where is it all gone? So, a long-winded answer, and it ain't what you want to hear, but we ain't surviving this. We're fucked. So cheaper tickets, through an empty stadium, but
you won't get cheaper tickets. They're frozen. You're getting 4 games.
Frozen, yeah. We're paying the same.
You certainly won't get cheaper away tickets. They're more expensive.
Well, yeah, exactly. And we've
got in the Premier League, not in the Football League. They charge what I paid when we was in the Championship the year we won it. I paid 47 quid for an away ticket at QPR. It's a shithole.
VAR as well. Like he's coming to the championship as well, so it's not even as though we're
course it is.
fucking in a better position there either. Listen, guys, it's been a pleasure. I'm sorry I've had to end it on a bit of a low, but you know what? We're in a bit of a low, and if we're not all just talking about that, then what the fuck are we doing? Like, we need to be honest about everything. And I just think sometimes, like, I'm looking out there, and people are far too optimistic about the situation we're in, and it's just actually ridiculous, man. People are just thinking, oh, it's just little Wolves. What do you mean, little Wolves? What the fuck do you mean by that? We've been in the Premier League for ages now. We've signed some absolute talent. Find me a better midfielder than Neves. You probably won't. Find me a better winger than Jota. You probably won't. Do you know what I mean? This is the fucking annoying thing, is that we've had it there. We've been there. We've had it. We were in Europe. We've done really well. We've seen all of those days. That's it now. So, sorry to end on a downer, lads, but it is what it is, man. Gotta be real. I've got to be real, and that is as real as it gets right now. But you know what's really good about Wolves? What's really good about Wolves is the fucking people that pay their good hard-earned money to go there. And if you can still wear your shirt with pride, you can still go to the Molyneux, right? And you can still cheer those lads on, then all fucking credit to you. Do you know what I mean? Don't matter about them anymore. It's still our club. It's still our club. Don't let them think. Don't let them think that it's theirs. It fucking ain't. Owner is, yes, okay. They own the club, whatever, but they don't own the club forever. That club will be ours forever. It won't be theirs forever. And eventually they'll fuck off, and then hopefully, we'll be in a better position. But yes, guys, listen, it has been a pleasure, let alone all of the pressing stuff as well. But I'll tell you what, it has been a pleasure. I'm really enjoyed this. There's a big, massive catch up. It has had to happen. We are going to try and do more of these more frequently. But yeah, absolute pleasure, man. We'll be back. When's the next game? Is that is that Saturday?
Yeah.
Yep.
At home.
Yeah, so John will be doing the preview Friday. I'll be doing the review when we've won on Saturday night.
Yes.
Really buzzing, full of beer. There's your optimism. Guys, absolute pleasure as always. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel and everything on the various social medias. Like I said earlier, we've got a new Twitter, which John is working really hard on over there. So please, he's working really hard over there. So please do us a big favor and support us. There we go. I made Dan laugh.
You have to censor that.
Fuck that. Don't censor anything, mate. Right, nice one, guys. Till then, man.
Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.
Come on, Wolves. Let's do it. See you later, guys.